Hello everybody and welcome back to Firefield Junction, and today I'm going to be showing you how to DCC a Bachmann class 166. So I've got here with me the centre unit and one of the end units from my first Great Western Dynamic Lines class 166. She's already been DCC'd, so I'm not going to be showing you how to do it and basically doing it as I go through, but I'm basically going to be showing you how I've done it and so I can try and make it easier for you guys who are still trying to work out how to DCC these particular units. I'm going to try and make it a bit easier for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the bodies off these two units, and I'll show you the motor unit first, because that's the easier out of the two, and then I'll show you how to do the lighting in the ends. So I'll just quickly get the bodies off these two units and I'll be right back and I'll show you how I've done it. Okay, so here we are. I've taken the body off the motor unit, and now I'm going to quickly explain to you basically how I've wired up this unit for DCC. Now, there are several different ways in which you can DCC a locomotive that's not DCC ready, but I'm just going to explain to you the way I've done it. So quickly start off, basically the wires that you're going to need to do this job. Now I've hardwired an 8-pin plug into this particular model, as you can see there. Then I've got the chip plugged into the 8-pin socket. But since there is no lighting in this unit, you only need to worry about the black, red, orange and grey wires on the 8-pin harness. And basically what you need to do is, when you first open this model as a DC model, I believe it's at this end, there'll be a little circuit board, and you basically need to disconnect all of the wires from that board. And so you'll have, I think, 6 different wires. Now, what I did, since the wires on this 8-pin harness are so long, I actually removed there was a red and a black wire going from this board to the motor, but I removed those 2 wires completely because I just didn't need them. There's no point having them since the wires from the 8-pin harness were long enough. So basically what you need to do is, if you're doing this method, then if you're hardwiring in an 8-pin socket, you need to take the red wire from the harness and solder it to the 2 pickup wires from the bogies. So there's one coming up from this bogie and one coming up from this bogie over here, and you basically need to connect those up to the red wire from the harness, and then do the same on the other side with the black wires. So again, you'll have a black wire coming off from this bogie and this bogie, and you need to solder those to the black wire from the 8-pin harness, and that will basically provide the chip with power. So if you then plugged a chip into this harness, you're basically now providing the chip with power. And then all you need to do to provide the motor with power is, if I just zoom in here, you then need to solder the orange wire from the harness to one side of the motor, and then the grey wire to the other side of the motor. And that's all you need to do for this unit. You don't need to worry about the green, the yellow, the white or the blue wires, because that's basically all for functions like lighting and stuff. But obviously, since there's no lighting in this unit, you don't need to worry about those coloured wires. So what I've done is I've just tape those off and make sure they're out of the way. So I hope I've explained that clearly enough. If there's anything that I've missed and that you want to know, just comment below, and I'll try and reply to you as quickly as I can. So anyway, let's move on to the end units so I can explain to you how you do the lights. Okay, so I've removed the body from this end unit, and I've also disconnected the cab as well. These cabs literally are just glued onto the end. I'm removing them will actually make this job a bit easier, because at least then it's not getting in the way. And it does actually, in my opinion, does make it when you go to secure the decoder, as you see I've done here, I think it does make it a bit easier. So once you've removed the body, the first thing you need to do is obviously unplug the lighting from the cab here, and then obviously as a DC loco, you'll have all the wires going into this board here. So you'll just have the pickup wires coming out and going into either side here, and then obviously you have them coming out here then that plugs in to the lights on the cab there. But what you need to do is, using a little flatbed screwdriver, is just basically ease up this board so it comes off the two little lugs there, and then you need to desolder the pickup wires, which will be soldered, I think, here and here. Obviously as a DC loco. And once you've desoldered those, you then need to solder the red pickup wire here to the red wire on the decoder, and the black wire to the black wire on the decoder there. The decoders I'm using are Lay's DCC ones, and they are the ones without the motor functions, so they don't have the orange or the grey wire, which obviously you need to supply the motor with power. But since there's no motor in this unit, then we don't need those wires anyway. So I do recommend, if you're doing a unit like this that basically has no motor but does have lights, I do recommend using these decoders because they're very inexpensive. They do a very good job. So moving on, once you've soldered the pickup wires, and as you can see, I've used some heat shrink tubing to secure the connections, and obviously that'll stop anything from shorting out as well. Once you've done those, we then need to come over to the board, and you need to solder the yellow wire from the decoder here to this point here, and then the white wire to this point on the board here. You then need to take a small piece of wire. It doesn't matter what colour it is. I've just used red here, and then you need to basically solder that piece of wire to this point here and this point here, and obviously that basically bridges that gap. And then you need to solder the blue wire from the decoder to this point here, and it doesn't matter if you solder it to that point there or this point down here. It will still do exactly the same job, so it doesn't matter if you put it there or there. It really won't matter. And that is all the wiring you need to do for the ends. You then just need to find somewhere, obviously, to put the decoder. I've put it here inside the unit, so it's nice out of the way. And when I put the body back on, all the wires just tuck up into there, and the cap easily just fits back on. And then once you've done that, and also once you've done both ends, you can then take it over to the programming track. I've just got mine over there, and then basically obviously give it the number that you want. I do recommend just testing it there first, so basically whatever number the decoder is set to at default, just make sure it works, make sure the motor unit runs back and forth first before you come to do these units, just to make sure that works. Obviously once you've done these, just make sure the lights work. I was a bit worried at first when I did mine, because when I did mine, once I gave it power, the red lights came on by themselves. But luckily it wasn't an issue. It's obviously just something that happened when I did it. It wasn't an issue, and luckily it all worked first time. So I hope that's been a useful guide. I'll quickly show you a few shots of it running around the layout, and I hope this has been helpful. If there is anything else that you need to know, or anything that I haven't explained well enough for you, just comment down below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible to make sure that when you come to do this DC syncing job on this particular unit, that you do it correctly, so obviously you don't end up damaging anything. Obviously, hopefully you get the best result. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll leave you with a few running shots of the train running around the layout, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Something else I thought I'd just mention quickly as well. Once obviously you've done all the DCC and all the lights are working, the motors are working, everything's alright. One thing I thought I'd just mention, so it's something that I've just experienced. I find the motor unit does have to go on a certain way around. So obviously you could have the lights working properly with obviously the headlights at one end, the tail lights at the other end, but then the motor unit could be going in the opposite direction to what you want it to. Now obviously the simplest way of solving this is literally just take the motor off, spin it around and put it back on the other way, then it should work. Or you'll have to take it over to the programming track and basically reverse the direction, obviously reverse the direction to the opposite one that it's set to. I'll quickly show you how to do that, basically how you do that on my controller anyway. So I'm using the Hornby Elite, so let's let it start up, and if this is the controller you're using, I'll quickly show you how to do that. So you'll basically go to Menu, Logo, Direct, then you go to Config, and it'll come up with DIR, Normal, and you basically want to select Reverse, and then continue going, and then basically, obviously there's nothing on the track at the moment, but basically, if you do that, obviously it's just the motor unit, don't have the light, the units for the lights on there as well. Just do that to the motor unit, then everything should work fine. But obviously you'll have to end up doing that too. You have to do that every single time you put it on the track. Obviously you don't really want to be doing that. Obviously if you have a layout where you've just DCC'd it, you've got it on, and you're just going to leave it on, and it's just going to stay on the layout now for pretty much ever, or a long time, then obviously just doing that is basically taking it up, turning it around and putting it back on the right way is all you need to do. So I thought I'd just put this little clip in as well, just to mention that. So if there are any other problems that you have, just leave a comment below and I'll reply to you, and hopefully that'll help. So again, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. So thank you for watching. Have a good evening, or have a good day, whatever time you're watching this. And again, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.